So this is obviously not a reading, but I just thought, I just was getting some thoughts on this whole twin flame thing that I've been wondering about for a while, because I see all of these videos. I've been trying to learn tarot for a while. Thought it was interesting. At first I thought it was scary a long time ago. It's not something that was encouraged for me growing up, but then I saw that there's some sort of technology to it, and it involves just your level of your ability to see things, and that's actually a career that I actually had. I was an imagery analyst for a little while. So just the ability to see something and correlate it with something else. So it depends on how much you know, or what you know, or your level of consciousness, that type of thing. So the twin flame thing is, I did a reading on that, and I think where it has gone wrong is that and also some of the knowledge I got from it also was from a video I watched with JCK. She interviewed somebody who is specializes in twin flames, and it made sense. I mean, it's kind of a long video to get through, but still the information was good. And then I did this reading a while ago, but I still keep seeing these things about twin flames, and I'm wondering what the obsession is behind it and all that. And then I started to realize that it's a money driven world for lots of people. For lots of people, that's the way it is. Money drives them. And some of these people who, or individuals or entities who are money driven, do know they're not. It doesn't mean they're more intelligent or smarter. They just have access to more information. If you give the information to somebody who is intelligent and wise, these things, then they could probably do more with that information if they had it available. But most people are not given. But these people do have more information, so they know that there's not laws, but there's cycles and time and things like that, and you can tell by the way things move in the universe and things that sort, and energy work. They have knowledge on that. So they have knowledge on that, and they're money driven. So there could be twin flames. It could be a thing. And they're just people who are very likely to work together and bring a lot of abundance. So that's what they're targeting. It's not, so when you have readers and they're like, for example, this tarot here, actually right here, I have it right here, because I think I did the last reading. I was looking at this card. This is like the Two of Cups. And, let me get a second, let me pause it so I can get the other deck. Okay, so I went and got the other deck here. Okay, just want to make sure the video is running. So I went and got this other deck. So so it depends on the reader. If a reader, a lot of readers see this this two. This is let me start with this. So this is the Two of Cups in the Thoth, right? That's what it looks like. There's like it's just, I don't see any romance here or anything like that. It's love. It's just love. Maybe cooperation or friendship. So that's their interpretation of love. So then this other deck right here is this is the Ancestral path deck. So this is, oh no wait, this is the Lovers. Let's see what the Two of Cups is. Let me pause it while I look for the Two of Cups, okay? So I don't know where that cut off. So anyway, so I have these this is the Two of Cups in this deck, which is the Star Tarot. This is the Crowley, and this is the, no wait, Two of Cups right here, and then this one. So it's about equality, about these are two equal. You need to have they're supposed to be about equality, basically. It could be a business, a partnership of any kind. It doesn't, even though you have a male and female here, they don't particularly have to be romantically involved at all. And even here, they don't have to be romantically involved at all. You could have just a beautiful female and a beautiful male in a business partnership or any type of partnership, and they don't have to be equally, I mean, they don't have to be romantically involved to work together to create something. It is about just basic partnerships, in my opinion. But it's in the view of whoever drew the cards or whatever, created these cards. So this is the Lovers here, and this one shows, you know, the Lovers kind of shows more of a male and female role, and I had just explained this, but the video got cut off. So for creation to happen, you have to have a male and female, because you have a disequilibrium. You have to have an imbalance for life to happen, because if you don't have an imbalance and everything is equal, like if you imagine two scales that are equal and totally equal, then the scale is still, there's no movement, and if something doesn't move, it's basically dead. So you have to have a sort of imbalance in order for life to be made, to be created. And so that you have male and female the way most of us were created, unless, you know, it happened in a lab or something. And from what I read, you know, some societies might be interested in that, because they don't want to be involved with the whole romantic aspect of it, but they still want creation, so they don't want to have to deal with this and that. But most of us were born out of male and female coming together. That's the way it was, that's the way it is, that's the way the Creator made it. I mean, yeah, that's you know, if you have an issue with it, then take it up with your Creator. But that's the way it is, and that's the way life is. You have to have you don't have to, but the way it is, at least in this reality, is you have to have, there's a male and female, and that's what creates life. The trees do it that way, the animals and everything. But it's a energy. Behind it is an energy. So, for example, like this artist's rendition there of the Lovers. It's sexual. It looks sexual. I mean, they definitely look sexual, right? So her interpretation of the Lovers is definitely sexual, and there's a snake and everything. So for this one, for the Thoth Tarot deck, you have to the creation, because the female energy is the creative energy. It's the, you have to think of something before you act. Well, it would be beneficial to think of something before you do it, or have a thought in mind, an imagination, creativity, something created in your mind, or whatever it is inside of you. It's not physical, and then you do it. Then you know, even if it's not a formal, like, step-by-step thing, you have, like, oh, I'd like to have a house or something, or, you know, I'd like to have a bicycle, and then it comes, it happens. So the female is the idea, the creativity. That's the female energy, and a female energy can be inside of a male body, of a physical male body. It can be. It's absolutely normal. And there are some males who are very manly looking and very tough looking, and I know a few of them who have the, and they are not and they are sexually attracted to women, so they're physical males, but they have that energy of creation, creativity. They just have so many things in their mind, and that's actually the perfect what a human, you know, should be, like a balance of male and female. But anyway, you have to have the female is a creative, and then you have to have the male energy would be what brings it into physicality. You're the doer, like you're putting you have the hammer in your hand and you're putting the nail. That's physical. Because if you just dream about something and think about something, it isn't going to happen unless you actually take action. And that's what the male energy represents. And the male energy can be inside of a female, and a lot of the times it is. If you see a lot of these homemakers, women who, you know, the typical role has been for women to be at home, and in my opinion, I think that they have more of a male energy. I mean, they're cooking, they're doing everything, taking care of the home. That's taking action, and maybe not a whole lot of thought has been put into it. They're just doing. And in the, you know, the way I grew up in the past, the male would be the one who works out of the home, and he's the one who had been creating and imagining things, and the woman would just do what the male did. That's the way, you know, gender roles were, at least in the way I grew up. So the male was coming up with all these ideas, and I don't know what they were doing at work or something, and they would be and then they would come home, and then the female was the one who was, you know, doing this, doing that, taking care of the home, doing dishes, cooking, which might have not involved a whole lot of, maybe it did, some imagination at least, like what am I going to cook, but if there was not a whole lot of choice involved, they were just doing. So in that case, the female would have had, the male would be playing the male role of bringing things into physicality, creation. So that's what that is. So yeah, this one, you know, all of these, the lovers are equality, but there are the two genders, and you can have a same-sex relationship as long as you have a male and female. Now that I think about it, I don't know if you can have, you know, some I don't know, but if you, I mean, looking at nature, it just seems like you need to have two. Like, there's nothing in nature that has, you know, more than that. So at least one male and one female equal, you know. So yeah. So the whole thing I was saying is that the whole thing is about, from what I understand, the twin flames is like about you have two people who are, if they come together, they would bring everything they work on would be successful, would be bring something in creation, because they have a perfect, you know, blend of this energy and that energy that would create a lot of abundance. And some people are very centered on abundance. They want the abundance for themselves, so that's why they would target these people, I think, because they want the abundance for themselves, so they would prevent these people from working together in a partnership that doesn't have to be romantic. But the thing is that when you're reading cards or doing any of these things, your interpretation of the card, you know, it's the medium of like, if you have, you know, like, it's something in science that if you have waves traveling through a medium like water or you know, like sound waves travel through the medium. They travel through the air, to the earth, or wherever. So it depends how, like, the quality of what you get depends on the medium that it goes through. So I know that that sound waves, for example, if you put, so like the Native Americans used to put their ears on the earth to listen for herds of buffalo coming, and they could hear it faster if they put their ear to on the ground. They could feel the vibrations, because on the earth the atoms or the molecules are packed together closer, so they travel faster. Whereas in the air, the molecules are like here and there, they're more separate, so a sound wave has to like travel to, you know, it takes longer for the sound to travel through the air than through the ground. And the same thing, if you have like a speaker or something, and it depends, the quality of the sound that you get could depend on the type of wire that you have. Like, if you have a thicker wire, the gauge of the wire, you know, the material of the wire, like some gold or some other type of metal, because you want to have a metal connection, so it'll flow faster and clearly, it'll transfer everything. So that's what a medium is. So when you're doing these things, it's like you have a medium with who's bringing the information is the person. So it's whatever knowledge they have and all that stuff. And, you know, romantic partnerships is something that we've been drilled with our whole entire, you know, existence. Like, it's all about love, that you have to have a partner to be happy, blah blah blah. Cinderella, you know, all these, the movie always ends when, you know, the people come together, the romance happens, and then the movie ends, because they don't want to show you the rest of it, right? So that is what society has taught us, that is the end, and the final happiness is love. So that would make sense why, you know, a lot of readers might link, you know, this Two of Cups, because that's what we've been, you know, like trained or programmed to have, is the Two of Cups means love. That's what they, you know. But it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It doesn't have to be about a romantic partnership. They you know, when it comes to their mind, or they get, when the energy or the information comes through their medium, their body, they might decipher it as romantic, but it doesn't have to be like that. So that's why I think a lot of the twin flame thing might be taken out of like, it's not about you know, like it's not about ruining the twin flames for the love aspect of it. It's about the money aspect, because that's actually what they are. In fact, I would probably think that you don't want to have a twin flame romantic partnership, because it would be like hell to have somebody that you always have to be constantly bickering with your entire, if you're married to them, or trapped with them, because that's what a marriage is. You're basically like in a contract that's a trap. You're trapped with somebody who has a different viewpoint than you, and that's fine. It would be good in a business partnership to have somebody who has a different viewpoint than you, because, and if you trust that individual to work together, you can create something amazing, a business or something. But if you have to live with that person, that would be a nightmare, having constantly a battle, like, oh, I see it this way, but I see it that way, that type of thing. I mean, for some people, that might, but I think it doesn't seem, and then you would have to constantly be, in a romantic part, in a marriage or something, you would constantly have to be, like, giving away your wants and needs to compromise. You would constantly have to be compromising your own being to live with this individual, and constantly have to be like, okay, I have to do this, and that doesn't serve an individual to be constantly compromising on their own self and on their needs and stuff. I don't think so. That would be a nightmare. But if you go to business with somebody and you have that type of relationship where they tell you how it is and it's different from yours, and you tell them how it is and it's different from yours, and then you have that, then you can have success. That makes absolute sense. So maybe the whole thing has been taken out of context. No wonder, yeah, if you have two individuals like that, like a yin and yang or something, that would be absolutely perfect to make something super successful. And maybe that's why they were brought into the world, so to bring in finances, success, to even things out, because the universe or the creator is to keeping things in balance, but you don't want to make it too balanced because then nothing moves. So you got a little here, a little there, kind of like that. I mean, it's way bigger than that, but just kind of explaining. So, yeah. So the reason that I started like looking into this Thoth Tarot was because I was into when I started getting into these things, I was like into this reader who I saw was very gifted, and she had all these readings, past readings on, she channeled all these things, and I don't agree with channeling people. I don't do readings on family members or people that I know, unless they want me to, and they're present. But other than that, I think it's awkward, right? So but unless, I mean, if it's like a public figure, but even then I think it's just invasive, and I don't want to deal with that. But I used to watch this reader for a while, and that's how I started learning about tarot. And she did a reading on Nostradamus, right? And I think they took the channel down. The channel was taken down, so the video is probably not up anymore. I might have saved it because I thought it was so cool, so I really enjoyed it. She took a lot of time, but she channeled Nostradamus, and then I was kind of curious. I watched it, and I really liked how the way the Nostradamus, if she was actually channeling, I liked the way they thought. They were like a seeker. They were always trying to get to know the creator. They would meditate a lot. The video showed a lot of good tips on what the guy did. Like meditate near water, that type of thing he suggested. And then he said that he had been a big influential part in Crowley's work, that Crowley, and I had not really been interested in this Aleister Crowley. I wasn't really Ozzy Osbourne, that's the one that he's got a song on Crowley, like Mr. Crowley, that song. So that's how I kind of heard it. The first time I heard it, I was like, who's this Mr. Crowley guy? And he talks to the dead and things like that. I don't know. That's what the song says. So that was kind of like turned me off from this guy for a long time. So then, so I was listening to the reader said that Nostradamus was saying that he was channeled. He had a big influential part into these cards and into this guy's work. And I liked how at least the reading said what Nostradamus said. He seemed like a individual who was a seeker, like a good person. He had a life, he had a wife, he lost his first wife, he had children. He was a human being who lived, and he loved, and he suffered, and he went through things like any other human being. He meditated, he did things, but he felt a little, I don't know how this, because I would think that there would be no ego, but he felt a little slighted that he was not mentioned in this guy's work. And I don't know, because I wasn't there. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if that was him being channeled. I don't know. If anybody wants to look into that, that's on you. But this is this is the reason I got interested in these cards. So I thought, like, wow, Nostradamus had a lot of influence to these cards, and yeah, there's a lot into these cards, and yeah, but it came from that reader, and she did a lot of other really cool readings on the pyramids and stuff. I did stop watching the reader because at some point they seemed to change. For a while I seemed to be they did like these, I seemed to be like I felt myself getting like a little obsessed with watching their readings. Like it seemed to be like what brought me joy, like, oh, the reading, it's coming on this time. And then I was like, I don't like feeling like this. I don't like, this is what brings me happiness, watching this reading. And why is that? And then I was listening to other, you call truthers or something, and some of them said some things that brought kind of like woke me up to some things, but I did notice that I was being a little bit obsessed with this reader. And then I did notice like a little something in their eyes too, something like it was like a little glossy thing, because people who are you would call enlightened, they have like a crazy look. Like I'm big into Osho, right? I listen to, I do a lot of, I'm interested in everything, and I'll look into anything if it feels right, if I have a good feeling about it. And sometimes I might even have a little bad feeling about it, but I'm like, I'll just see what's up. And sometimes I change my mind, and sometimes I don't. So Osho is somebody who has the crazy eye look. They just have the, like a psychopath look. If you look into some, like that guy, a murderer, I don't know, if you look at their eyes, they have like their, and I think I saw there's a YouTube video about it, that you could see the whole pupil, like the white part is totally, you could see all the white part in their eyes, and you can see the dark part in it. So if somebody's eyes are like totally, you can see, then that means, so anyway, there's a look that people have, and I've known this since I was a kid. There's a crazy eye look, and somebody who's been through a lot just has it. I don't know why. And that's how I, maybe has saved me from a lot of just knowing that there's that crazy eye look. Okay, somebody who has that look just been through a lot, and somebody like Osho has that look in his eyes. I don't know if it's what it is. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's somebody's been through a lot, and it could be a good thing, and they could make it into a good thing or make it into a bad thing. But anyway, this reader, I noticed that there was something in their eyes, that they could see something beyond or something. But then it like turned kind of like glossy, like they were just talking. And I did notice that their appearance started changing. They started looking better. I noticed those things, and then I felt a little strange, and I thought, like, I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't easy to stop watching them. I was like, I need to stop watching this, because there's something going on, and I don't know what it is, but But yeah, so I stopped watching that reader. But back when these readings were, when she did the whole Nostradamus, and she did the and like there was one on the pyramids and stuff, I could tell she was very gifted, and she was like, she didn't know everything. She was kind of, she would look at the cards and kind of like, yeah, it could be this, but it could be that. And you know, there was somebody else who eventually, who sometimes would chime in on their opinion. So, but it but they were very thoughtful about it, and and you know, very open about it, and it seemed very real to me back then. And that's why I think those were like good readings, and I believe what they said about Nostradamus. It could be, I mean, but this is the reason I went into these cards right here. It was because of that. But then they, like, their eyes changed, and it was like a glossy look and something strange. I don't know what it was. I just noticed a change. I don't know if it was good or bad, or if it was my imagination, but I was like, maybe I should take some time out, because I really also, at the fact is, I don't like being attached to something that like, oh, like the show's coming on at this time, that type of thing is a is a is a chord. It's a chord, basically. So, and life is easier when you don't have these attachments or cords. So that's why I dissociated. But yeah, that's the reason I started looking into these cards, and they do have a lot of insight into them. They have like but this guy Crowley, even if he did channel the information from Nostradamus and didn't give him any credit, it does, even despite that, he's created a lot of books, and he has his own insight into things, which I appreciate that they wrote, that they took the time to write all these things. And these, another thing is appreciating these cards, that these artists took the time to give their rendition of what it is, and all the creativity that went in there on what they believe the card means. And when you get the information, it goes through you, and then through the card, and it's a higher intelligence. You can get the information, and that's also a security check. If you think about computers and stuff like that, and the internet, like they have all these checks. You have to check the the safety, make sure that it's they have the permissions. There's a whole transfer that happens in computers, if you know about electronics and software and stuff like that. All these exchanges, well, the same thing, because it's all based on the real internet, which is us. We are connected to something. That's how thoughts and all that stuff. The internet is based on all that. So this is also like an advanced type of security check, because if you have a clearance, you have knowledge within you, then you know what you're allowed to get certain things from these cards. But if you don't have that much of a clearance, then you might not be getting it. But it's a absolute complete security check that you're not gonna get something out of this unless you're allowed to have it. So and only the creator would know who's allowed to have the information or not. And it doesn't even have to be from the cards. It could be from something else, from clues and stuff just happen in real life. And if you're allowed to have the permissions, you have the knowledge, whatever, the wisdom you've earned, that then you can decipher what it is you're seeing and get the knowledge from it. It depends what viewpoint you're seeing it from, what type of consciousness. If you could even have the knowledge, but if you're in a state of anger, or sort of kind of lower your consciousness, then you won't be in the you won't be in the flow of that type of knowledge or energy. You can only you know, if you're angry or upset and you want to like get back at somebody, you won't be at a higher boss level. You'll be over here where you won't be at like the, you could say like the kingdom level, where you're up here looking down at everything and you can see everything moving around. You're down here, if you're down here at a level of like, let me fight that person, or I'm against them, then you can only see it from that viewpoint, from that, I guess, dimension. But if you're up here in a dimension where you can see everything, like, okay, I'm up here and I can see that these two people over here, they live together, but they are neighbors, and they, you know, then they have a king. Like if you're playing chess or something, there's like the knights and the queens, and you can see the whole chess thing, checkerboard or whatever. You're seeing it from above, so you can be in that dimension, that level where you can see, get that knowledge. So you have to be in that state of mind to get more from whatever you're getting, you're seeing. But if you're down here where you're like, oh, that they stole my chick or whatever, or they did something bad to me and I have to get, then you're down here where you're fighting something else, and then you see it from that level where you're fighting something else. But if you're up here, you realize that everything is part of the checkerboard, and everything has its place. You know, you have to have movement, you have to have change in order for life to exist. That's the way the creator created it. Creatorness made it. And like, to not acknowledge that, or to try to separate yourself from that is trying to separate yourself from something that creatorness made. To kind of rebuke what creators made. It's what the, you know, that's, we're, you know, why did they put us in this reality? I'm in this reality, so I have to, that's part of creation. You gotta have movement. So a little bit of, you know, like respect and honor, I guess it would be the closest thing, but I don't even like using those words. But it would be like a lot of respect and honor to the creator, that they created all these things in this world, and they were lucky enough to be here. So just acknowledge that they're there, and you know, you don't have to destroy it or just figure out how to deal with it or something. But it's the creator made it all. So to rebuke it or something, or just, it would be to rebuke a part of creation. There's there for a reason. I think it's the easiest way to work with it. And you know, this is all my insight, because somebody might find it useful. So take it or leave it. It's fine with me either way. But at least it's out there. That's it. So I just had another thought real quick that I wanted to mention. The whole thing about viewing things from one viewpoint to another, from viewing it from up high or down low, in the bickering, or in the, you know, from the kingdom, you know, viewpoint, either one is fine. There's no right or wrong way. Sometimes people have challenging lives, and they've had bickering, and all they want is peace. They want to reach that level of peace where they just want to be left alone, because they've had enough of the bickering and this and that. On the other hand, there are sometimes people, and it might happen at the end of, you know, towards the end of life, when somebody's had a very boring life, they've settled, they've compromised, and they're like, I want some spice, I want to live my life, because that's kind of what there's so many reasons for life, but that's another reason, to experience life, to experience love and loss and all those things, and good and bad, and just feel things, right? That's another reason, an experience. And sometimes people have had that, like, I'm tired of this boring life, nothing happens, nothing is moving, what's the point of it, I feel bored, and then they want to move up from wherever they are at, or from below, or whatever, to that you know, little that tug and pull, because it's fun, you know. That's why we watch TV shows and stuff, and movies, like the suspense of what's going on over there, what this person said. It's all fun. It's an experience, and it's not a bad thing. That's why I sometimes watch those things. I have hard time with watching shows, but I do listen to the sometimes I'll listen to the tarot card readings, like, oh, wonder what's going on, like this person, the evil karmic or something, or I like sometimes I like that just because I kind of have a lonely existence at the moment, so just to like spice it up in a way that I don't have to get attached with for a moment. So I do listen to that, and some people like to dwell all in, and that can be fun too. So it's not right or wrong if you want to look at something from the top of the chess, the checkerboard thing, or if you want to actually go into the checkered board, that's fine. There's no judgment in it. There's you know you have to. In fact, it's good to have both viewpoints. If you're going to be looking at something from the higher viewpoint, it would be good to have some experience having been living down there inside of the checkerboard, because you know what it's like, so you can make better decisions, and you can kind of see what if you're seeing something from above, you've actually had the experience of what it feels like. So it would make you more. It would give you more insight, more information if you're going to make a decision on how to do something, if you already have, like, if you know what that feels like. So yeah, I'm just saying that there are different viewpoints, but I'm not saying that the whole drama thing is a is a bad thing. It's fun too. It has its benefits. So yeah, it's just whatever point you're in, or wherever you want to do, wherever you want to go, or however you want to see it, wherever you want to be, it's free will, and that's what that's our creatorness gives to us. Yeah.